If you believe money doesn't buy happiness, then my friend, you are 1000% wrong, and I'm going to prove it to you. Because most people that say that don't have a lot of money, and they simply use that phrase as an excuse to try to ease their own stress over their lack of having money. So the real question is, are you most people that doesn't have enough money and uses that phrase, money doesn't buy happiness, as an excuse? If you are, we're going to change that in this one video. And by the time you're done watching this, you will have a completely new perspective on money, and that will absolutely change your financial future, your income, your opportunities, and yes, my friend, your happiness, which money does buy. I'm Garrett Fromm, and 6 years ago, I was living in my brother's basement. I walked off my engineering job, and I was never going to work again. But I sabotaged myself, right? I had zero income, and I didn't have enough money to live the rest of my life. I moved into the basement of an 1800s farmhouse, big dirty rock walls, old grungy toilet next to me, spider webs in the ceiling. It was bad. But I started a company, which last year in 2025, I made $3 million. I expect to make $6 million this year. And all this has come from the idea of getting rid of that idea of money doesn't buy happiness to money absolutely buys happiness, and I want happiness. So here's what we're going to cover in this video. First, we have to define happiness and money's role in it, because this is really important. Then we're going to get into the common lie about money and where it came from and how it affects your psychology. We're going to talk about what money actually is and how money actually does buy happiness. Then we'll give a little bit of truth about wealthy people and happiness, because there's a big misconception here. Then we're going to do a self-check on you to check your self-perspective of money. This is the important thing, because you need to see that in order to be able to change it. We can't change what we don't understand. And then how to change your perspective. And then we're going to wrap this up, and you are going to walk away from this video not only thinking that money is a good thing, but knowing that it absolutely does buy happiness. So let's talk about happiness, or how money falls into the happiness definition. So here's the problem. People talk about happiness like it's one thing, and it's not. It's built on 4 pillars. And those 4 pillars are love and connection, purpose and growth, health and energy, and financial freedom. So money is only one of the 4 pillars of happiness, but it truly is on happiness. And the reason it is in one of the pillars, because when you have enough money, you're not stressing about it. And that enables you to do things with the other pillars a lot easier. So we want to fix that 4th pillar of money, because this has the most effect on the other pillars than the other pillars do on that one. If one of these pillars is weak, then happiness is unstable. All 4 pillars need to be addressed. We're doing money. So let's get to the core truth. Money does not buy all happiness. Money absolutely buys that 4th pillar that everything sits on. And if your financial life is unstable, you feel it on all the other pillars, like I said. So where does this lie come from that money doesn't buy happiness? You've heard it your whole life, that statement, money doesn't buy happiness. And it sounds so wise. What that statement actually does is it keeps money away. If money doesn't give you happiness, you're not going to want it. So we accept this common term of money doesn't buy happiness, and since that's the case, we resist it. When everybody says it, we just assume it must be true. But let me ask you this. Would getting freedom, getting out of the 9 to 5 forever, be a really nice move for you? Giving you total freedom. If you could do that without worrying about money, would it make you happy? I'm assuming it would. And guess what? That requires money. And I just want to say, money is so abundant. Once you get to the right perspective, money is really easy to make, by the way, my friend. But you have to get there, right? We'll talk about this misunderstood Bible verse, because it seems that this is where this comes from. In the Bible, people quote, money is the root of all evil. And that's not even what the Bible says. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. And what that means is when money becomes an obsession, that's greed. Money in and of itself is just a tool. But this is where people get it twisted up. They think that money is bad and that people with it that have it are greedy. And nobody likes greed, so we push it away. Or people grip it so tight out of fear, they stop it from moving. Money is flow. We'll talk about that one here in just a second. But when you block flow, you block more money from coming to you. So let's talk about the psychology of money, because these statements affect you in very deep ways, especially when you hear it over and over again. So here's where it gets deeper. When you hear money doesn't buy happiness, or money is the root of all evil, your brain subconscious doesn't say, wait a minute, no, you're wrong. It just accepts these statements that we say. So when you say things like money doesn't buy happiness, money isn't important, rich people are greedy, the brain's going, I got it, money's not a good thing. And once the brain accepts that, it starts filtering your world. And it says, I don't want it. That's what it's going to do. So when opportunities come up, you don't even see them. Ideas come up, you dismiss them. Chances to make more money, you pass them right by. Why? Because your brain is trying to stay consistent with what you told it is the fact. You said the fact is money doesn't buy happiness. The brain is going to keep that in its program, in the subconscious. We don't see the subconscious, but the subconscious drives the core of our behaviors. So if money is bad, you won't let yourself have it. And if someone else has it, you'll believe that they shouldn't and that they're bad people. Here's the flip side. When you change that psychology and start saying money is a good thing and money is the root of all good, everything changes. Then money becomes a tool. It becomes flow. It becomes something that supports your life. Now your brain starts doing the opposite stuff. If you keep saying that to yourself, you shut that out when people say that. Money is the root of all evil, and you immediately go, no, it's not. Money doesn't buy happiness. Yes, it does. And you don't let that in. You just say, nope, they're wrong. What happens is when you start saying that to yourself, your brain starts looking for ways to create more money. And it wants it because you're telling it. It buys happiness. It gives me good things. Now your brain is starting to see the opportunities. Now it allows you to move toward it instead of away from it. Same world, just a different filter. That's the shift. Now, let's talk about what money really is, because people do not have a concept of what money is. They just want it, need it, but they don't really know what they want or need it for. So money in and of itself is not a good thing or bad thing. It's just a method of exchange. And it's how we think of it that makes it whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So money is not something you hoard. Money is movement. It's energy. It's flow. Money must flow. It needs to come to you. It needs to go out of you. And you need to work it in a way where you can also make it work for you so more comes to you. But when you have good energy about money, it will start to flow to you. But if you have that negative energy, you're pushing it away, my friend. So you use it, money, invest it, circulate it, and more comes back. And let me clear up another common misconception. Money doesn't change you. It reveals you. Basically, what money does, the more you have of it, the more of you comes out. So you're a good person. I'm sure you are. So as you get more money, you're going to do more good things with that money. Maybe donate to things, start a company, or just do something with your family. Take them on vacations that you've been wanting to do. Buy that car you've been wanting to buy. Right? It just makes you more of a good person. If you're a selfish person, it's going to make you more of a selfish person. But either way, money is money, and it buys satisfaction in many different ways. Money buys comfort, but money is an energy. And the more that energy it flows, the more it amplifies who you are. So money just makes you more of who you are. If you're thinking money is hard to make, it's hard when you don't understand the concept of value. Because money is a byproduct of delivering value to other people. Money flows to value. If you deliver value, money's coming to you. And if you're thinking, what does value even mean? Value is simple. It's solving a problem making something easier for other people and helping someone get the result that they care about. And when you do that, then money is going to start coming to you as a result of your giving. Money doesn't like greed. That's why if you're like thinking, I want money, but money doesn't buy happiness, it's going to stay away from you. The more problems you solve with this value thing, and the bigger the result you create, the more money flows to you. When you learn how to create value, it just happens. Money comes to you. So why is money a good thing? Well, I already started to say it, but let's go into lifestyle. Let's go back to the truth of this. You remember the 4 pillars, all right? Love, connection, personal growth, health and energy, and financial freedom. Money buys one of these pillars of happiness, and that is financial freedom. And if that pillar affects everything, because when your finances are solid and you got money coming in, you breathe different, you think different, you walk different, you live different. And this isn't about chasing money your whole life. It's about building it enough so it starts doing the money collecting for you instead of you chasing it. In other words, the money starts working for itself to make more money. This is the beauty of owning a business. Because when you own a business, that money comes. You invest, you buy more hardware or whatever you do, and more money comes. I want to talk about the truth about wealthy people a little bit more. So a lot of people don't like wealthy people. They think they're greedy. But wealthy people build companies. They create jobs. They create lifestyles for so many people. They support families. My company, IDC Woodcraft, my $3 million company, I pay multiple people, and they love doing what they do. And I love having them. And I donate a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, to charities. This is the power of money, and it feels really fulfilling. So I'm not greedy. I get other people to do things I need them to do, and I make more money, and I get more people, and I help more people. Money in the right hands multiplies impact. You have a job. You are helping someone else make money. Right? What we want to do is get you in the space of thinking money buys happiness, and I'm going to make my own money. So let's do a self-check on you. Let's really see how you feel about money. Are you stressed about money? Do you feel pressure when your bills come in? Do you not look at your bills and just write them and say, thank God I got this bill. Thank God I got this service of electricity and medicine and what have you. Or are you constantly trying to figure out how to make more? That's not happiness. That's what lack of money does. It creates stress. It creates pressure. It creates fights in marriages and relationships. And it makes you feel bad about yourself. So if you're feeling any of these things, like stressed about money when the bills come in and not thankful for having those bills, then we have to change that. This is your identity objection, right? Here's a big one. How do you feel about wealthy people? Because we talked about wealthy people. Do you judge them? Do you think they're greedy? Do you think they should just give everything away? We talked about them before, but what is your perspective when you think about wealthy people and you look at them? Do you think that you just don't like them because they're above you and they have much more money? If you resent money, you will never attract it. When you get down to the root of it, you really have to look at yourself and say, am I looking at money in a sense of resentment because I don't have it? Then you will always keep it away from you. If you're sitting there thinking, I'm just not the kind of person who makes a lot of money, that's not truth. There's a story you've told yourself long enough to believe it, and society has told you. Maybe you even grew up with parents that said money doesn't grow on trees and you got to work hard to make money. But here's what money actually buys. And this is the core truth of it. And this is a part of this whole video that I want you to understand. Money buys time. It buys options. You can create experiences with money. Money buys freedom. When you have money, you can pay people to do things for you. You can do what you really want. My business, after 5 years, is almost a self-running company because I have set myself up in such a way to make it help other people who really enjoy the job, and I don't have to be there because they run the show, and I am still making money off of it. That's beautiful. And that means I got freedom of choice to go wherever I want. Honestly, I probably work 4 to 5 hours a week in my company, and I'm ramping it up to $6 million. If I were to sum this up in one sentence, we'll go like this. Money gives you the freedom of choice. And the more money you have, the more freedom you have to make those choices. Write this down. Money gives you the freedom of choice. If you have enough, you can walk off your job. So we need to start changing this. This is where the meat comes in. This is where your words matter, where you have to be really aware of things that you say and what you think. Because when you speak it, whatever you speak, like I said before, the brain is just going to listen, and your subconscious is going to say, yep, you said it again. That means it must be true. We're going to keep money away because it's evil. Because it doesn't buy happiness. My friend, it's not evil, and it buys happiness. I just showed you what it did. It buys freedom of choice. So comment that you might say. You want to be really alert to this now and catch yourself when you say it. And don't feel bad, just say, oh, shoot, I said that wrong. Let's say it again. So here's one. I'm bad with money. Or money is hard to get. So here's how you say it. I'm not as good with money as I want to be. So I'm going to work on getting better with money. You see how we flipped that I'm bad with money to I'm not as good with money. We're using it in a positive way. But I'm going to learn how to make money. Right? Money is hard to get. Flip it on. Money is easy to get. I hear many people say it. So let's find out how easy money is to get. When you use negative, bad, hard, negative words, right? What they do is they just stop the conversation in your head about money. But if you say money is, I'm not as good with money, but I'm going to get better. Now your brain can have a conversation. All right. Money is good is what you want to say. And money is freedom to help others. This keeps these comments, when you say them in this negative way, they keep you exactly where you are. And what you're doing when you're saying them now, you're creating your future. Your future is created from the now. So the now is where you have to change your perspective. So you want to become really aware of your thoughts and saying it. And when other people say it and challenge it, right? Change it. I'm learning how to create more. Money flows where value is created. Money supports the life I want. These are affirmations that you can say that just start to make you feel like there's a new baseline of money. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Once you start doing this, it starts to plant in your head. Money will start showing up bit by bit, as long as you keep doing it and keep checking yourself. Like this is all repetition, right? And you will start to attract better opportunities and make money. Making it will become much easier. And eventually you will start making enough money to never worry about it again, because you'll be able to buy your freedom. But my friend, you have to be selfish about this. So it's kind of interesting. Now I got to be selfish with my money? Nope, you're being selfish with changing your mindset. And what I mean by selfish is you can't let other people keep saying the same things to you and let it get into your head. You got to stop it and change that. So when someone else says money doesn't buy happiness, you just say to yourself, money does buy happiness, and I'm going to get it. This might be a little odd when you're being selfish about it. You got to be selfish, because if you're broke, stressed, and barely surviving, you can't help anyone, let alone yourself. You build yourself up so you can give bigger later. And wanting more for your life, that's not greed, my friend. That's responsibility. Responsibility to yourself and your family and everybody that you interact with. So let's go back around full circle. We covered that money is not evil. Money is a tool. It's flow. It's energy. And it supports one of the core pillars to happiness. When you change how you think about money, and this is my promise to you, your life will change. You'll start seeing opportunities differently. You'll start acting differently. Your income, your freedom, and your happiness will follow that shift. That is a promise. How do I know? Because I've been through it. And it was hard. It was hard. I had to be really attentive to it. But I got there. If something in this video hit you, my friend, drop a comment down below. Tell me what it is that you are challenged with your thinking. And then tell me how you're going to rephrase it. And if you're struggling with money, ooh, there's another one. Don't say I'm struggling with money. I'm challenged with money at the moment. See how I put that with at the moment there? That's telling the brain it's only momentary. That's going to change. But if you got it, share it down below in the comments. I'd love to see what you say. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it to them. Now you know that money does buy happiness. Now go out and let yourself see money in a completely different way.